Hey VAT, we're making our own personal logos, and we just wanted to make a video considering the use of repetition in the logo. Many companies and personal logos use this, the idea of repetition. So Adidas is a really good example of that, with the repeated long rectangles that are sort of tilted and cut, and then these circles, the four wheels of a car, the Audi, kind of lined up like that as well. So we'll go through and we'll talk about how to produce each one of these things and how to use repetition in a logo. Here we go. Adobe Illustrator. We are working on many different logos. I wanted to show a couple different tools today. One of the tools is going to be the rotation tool. Alright, so let's get started. You have to start off with some sort of an element, a shape, an object of some sort. So I'm going to start off with, like I did the last time, I'm going to start off with the polygon tool. I'm going to stretch and I'm going to hit down on the keypad to get it to be a triangle. If I hold shift, it'll keep the triangle perfectly straight, and if I get rid of the fill color by putting the no fill into the fill color, it makes a triangle that just has outlines. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. Control plus is what I use to zoom in. Space bar is what I hold to turn it into a hand tool and move it over so it's centered. I like to use the rotation tool to rotate several and to copy several triangles around a axis point. So when you start off with the rectangle or with the rotation tool, it starts off with a crosshair, and that is what enables you to tell Illustrator where the center of the rotation is going to be. Holding down Alt will allow you to click and it opens up this dialog box. If you do not hold Alt, you will not get this dialog box, and you'll be forced to do everything by sight. So this dialog box is important because it allows you to type in the angle of the rotation with numerics. So 360 degrees makes an entire circle, so we have to put in something that goes evenly into 360. So 20, for example, goes evenly into 360. So when we hit copy, if we hit OK, it'll just rotate one. It'll just rotate this one around our axis point. But if we hit copy, it makes a copy of that triangle, and when it rotates it 20 degrees. Then I have the ability, because Illustrator remembers what I did and how far apart these are, that I can hold down Control and hit D, and then hit it over and over and over and over again until it comes back to the original triangle. And because I put it in 20 degrees, it fits perfectly. And so inside of this triangle, then you could say put like a letter, and there's your logo. But I would spend some more time on that W and make it a little bit more interesting. Or, as similar to when we talked about alignment, you could make your symbol, this could be the symbol for your logo, and then use the type tool to type out your entire name. And then make sure using the rulers and guides, pulling out guides, you could ensure that you have alignment. Make sure that that's perfectly aligned underneath your symbol. I'll just shrink that down. Okay. So that's one way to use repetition. Another way to use repetition would be to similar to the Adidas logo, you could use something like the rectangle tool. I'm holding down Alt to click on the selected item to make a copy, and if I want to make sure that it's going straight, I just hold Shift, and that clicks it into like following a straight path. And I moved that over a little bit. I was holding down Alt to make a copy. Now I can hit Control D as noted before. Control D will allow you to duplicate the last copy that you made, and the distance is remembered, so you don't have to worry about it being perfect. I'm going to take all three of these things. I'm just going to tilt it a little bit. I'm going to take the rectangle tool again and make a rectangle that goes through all of my other rectangles. I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to use the Shape Builder tool, holding down Alt. There's repetition, there's Adidas. What was the other one? Oh yeah, the multiple circles all in a row. Just using the ellipse tool. Select the item, hold down Alt. If I hold Shift, it'll keep it straight. I can use Smart Guides to make sure that these are exactly lined up how I want to, and I can hit Control D, and now I have a repetition logo using that. I want to show one more tool on repetition, and then it's up to you to figure out some cool stuff on your own and just experiment. I'm going to type a W. I'm going to pick out a font that is a little bit curvy. About Pristina. I'm going to create outlines on my text by right-clicking on it. I'm going to create outlines. I am going to go to the option that says Object. I'm going to go to Transform. The Object Transform. I'm going to go to Reflect. And this is how you can reflect things vertically or horizontally. I'm going to reflect vertically at first, and I'm going to tell it to make a copy. Instead of just flipping this one, I'm going to make a copy so that gives me my repetition. That becomes kind of an interesting symbol in itself. These two things then can be selected, and if you want to, you can transform, reflect again, and this time horizontally, hit copy. And you can start to get some really interesting patterns that way. So at any rate, there's a lot of different things you can do to achieve some repetition in a logo. I just hope that you all will continue to experiment and play and figure out how to use Illustrator to make interesting repetition in logos. And that's it. Enjoy. See you in class.